Hi and welcome to this sequence. We're going to concentrate on what is a problem area for a lot of people, the hamstring and the glutes. For this, you might need a blanket, you might need not. If you have knees that are a little bit fussy, that don't really like kneeling on the mat, then you can use the blanket for cushioning. If your knees are pretty hardcore, then you don't need to worry about that. We'll definitely need a strap, and you will almost certainly need blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use books. If you don't have a strap, you can use a dressing gown tie, karate belt if someone in your household does martial arts, or maybe a towel or something like that, but these are dead cheap. So we're going to start, I'll start by moving things out of the way so you can see me, and we're going to start on our backs. We'll start on our backs, feet on the mat about as wide as the mat. Start with the knees resting together, and your arms can fall out to either side. And we'll take a couple of nice deep breaths here, settling into the mat. You just notice if you've got any little aches and pains, notice if you've got anything that needs attention. This is going to have a bit of a warm-up, so you can definitely do it as a standalone thing. There's a video for shoulders if you want to do a bit of upper body stuff as well. And then once you're settled into the mat, we'll separate the knees a little bit, and we're going to move the knees left and right as if they're windscreen wipers, or windshield wipers if you are American. I start most of my classes like this because it's a nice thing to wake up the hips and also the sides of the body, the obliques. And then when the knees come down to the right, they can drop all the way down. Lift your left arm as you're reaching over the corner of the mat. You've got a nice long line down here, down the left hand side of the body. Take some nice deep breaths into there. And then arms back to shoulder height, knees back to centre. Maybe you need to adjust your spine. Do a few more windscreen wipes. During which time I'll remember what knee we literally just did. Okay, so we went right last time, so the knees will come to the left, and we'll reach over the side, over the corner of the mat with the right hand. I'm filming this on a really hot day, so my brain is even slower than usual. Nice deep breaths into that right hand side. We're going to come back to centre, arms back to shoulder height, do a couple more windscreen wipes left and right. We're going to come to centre, bring the feet just in front of your bottom. Bring your hands, you can bring your hands palms down next to your hips. Or, if you like, you can hold on to the mat for a little bit of using your arms a little bit in this. And we're going to peel the tailbone up off the mat, tilting the pelvis towards the nose a little bit, and lift our hips into a bridge. And clench your buttocks together. I'm going to be talking about buttocks and bottoms quite a lot. So you'll hear all my euphemisms for butt cheeks. Imagine you've got a £20 note between your butt cheeks and you don't want anyone to take it. And then we can bring our arms up and over our head, back to the hands, go to the mat, or the floor behind us. Deep breath here, and we can slowly, one vertebra at a time, come down to the mat. Once our hips are on the mat, bring our knees into the chest, hook our knees in, maybe rock a little bit left and right. So here we're getting a bit of a stretch on the glutes. We'll bring our left hand to left knee, right hand to right knee. Draw circles in opposite directions with each knee. So we're drawing like a sideways figure of 8 or an infinity symbol with our knees. Change direction. Do it in the other direction. Now we're going to come to happy baby. So reach between the knees. Grab your feet if you can on the outside of your feet. If you can't, you can grab your ankles. But we're bringing our feet to face the ceiling and we're bringing the knees in towards the armpits as much as we can. If it's a big struggle, you could use a strap. Keeping the feet apart as you do so. I can reach my feet, and that kind of really brings the knees in, so I really only on the hips. So with all the glutes and hamstring stuff, hips are going to be involved as well. Bring our hands behind our knees. We're going to roll up to sitting, or come up to sitting however you want to. We're going to come straight onto all fours. We'll do a couple of cat-cows just to get our spine nice and loose. So inhaling into cow, lifting the tailbone, looking up, dropping the tummy, exhaling into cat, arching the back, looking back at the knees. So a couple of those with your own breath. So we're going to do a lot of stretching of the glute and the hamstring. But we're going to do a bit of strengthening as well. You might have heard of something called yoga butt. That is, its Sunday name is hamstring and tendinopathy. And that's when you overstretch the hamstring without strengthening it. So, you know, muscles need to be just right, not too tense and not too loose. And actually, you can stay on all fours. I'm just going to stand up and talk a little bit about the legs. So we've got, most of us know the glutes. Glutes are here in our butts, gluteus maximus and gluteus medius, I think. So when we're like this, we're stretching the glutes, and as we straighten the leg, we're tightening it, and as we come back, you can really feel the glutes clenching. The hamstring does this movement, so it's pulling the lower leg, it's bending the knee. So this is why a lot of footballers, strain their hamstring, because if you manage to go poof, you're straining it very quickly. So if you're one of my weightlifting chums, you probably already do a lot of strengthening in your glutes and in your hamstrings, doing a lot of squats and things. But if yoga is your main form of exercise, you just want to be careful that you're strengthening as well as stretching. So hopefully you're continuing to cat-cow through that, or maybe just in tabletop. So we're going to do a bit of strengthening. We're going to do a couple of bird dogs. So we're going to bring our left hand forward, our right foot back. These right toes are flexed towards the body. That's important. And on an exhale, elbow and knee come towards each other. Inhale, we stretch out again. Do a couple of those. The elbow and the knee do not have to touch, and maybe nowhere near each other. I've lost count already. We'll do one more. And then stretch out. You can keep your hand out or you can bring it down for a bit of balance if you want. Keeping that right foot flexed, we're going to lift the foot up and down a few inches. We're using our glute muscle here. Do a few pulses like that. And then we'll swap sides. Right hand forward, left foot back, left foot flexed in, elbows and knees coming towards each other on the exhale, stretching out on the inhale. So glutes are having a moment. I keep on seeing adverts for yoga pants with women with obviously photoshopped massive bubble butts. But I find that, yeah, I'm 47, I've been round the block, I've seen heroin chic, I've seen big bottoms, I've seen what they call body positivity. Stretch out, bring one hand out of balance if you like, lift up the glutes. By the time you've got a big bubble butt, we'll be back to skinny arms again. You know, there's no point in trying to change your body for what's fashionable. A better reason to want to work your glutes is because it's good for you. The glutes give you the kind of explosive power that you need to run up a hill. And running up a hill or weightlifting, doing squats with your glutes, will both strengthen your bones, bring that knee in. So yeah, if you want to train for fashionable bottom, go for it, but healthy, sustainable bottom is much nicer. We're gonna come into a child's pose now, so you can widen your knees as much as you need to give yourself a bit of space. Send that bottom back to the heels. You can keep your hands forwards or you can bring them back, whichever you prefer. Head can come to the mat, or head can come to a block, or 2 blocks, you know, whatever you need to get a bit of comfort. A couple of nice deep breaths here. And then we'll come up to kneeling. We're going to put our blocks either side of the front of the mat so they're handy for the next bit. We're going to come up to standing. Yes, we are going to come up to standing. So we'll do the start of a sun salutation. I must warn you, my downward dog's really terrible. I'll probably, when I can see the video, I'll maybe subtitle how awful it is. But we're going to do it really slowly because I want to talk you through some of the bits of what the legs are doing and what might be a struggle. So in fact, I'm going to move my blocks out of the way so you can see better. So we'll inhale, arms come up. We can take a bit of a back bend if that's comfortable. We're going to exhale, forward fold. Now, if you look in the yoga books, you will see people with their heads here. This is as forward as I can fold. If you have a not very pleasant yoga teacher, they might tell you that your tummy's in the way. Probably not the case. If you feel that it is, you can widen your feet, and that gives us room for the tummy. But look, I'm no further, no nearer down than I ever was. What's causing the problem here is my hamstrings. I can feel them right now, they're very tight. But for forward fold, we're folding forwards. And having that stretch in the hamstring is part of the move. We then come to a halfway lift on an inhale, nice flat back, the hamstrings have a little rest. I also think it helps you be mindful of your forward fold position. And then usually, certainly in my classes, on an exhale, we bring our hands down to the mat. Work from on your hands, they're not on the mat. So if, like me, you can't reach, I can't with fingertips, but you cannot get your hands flat on the mat, you've got a couple of options. Easiest is to bend the knees a little bit, and then my feet a little bit closer, but maybe you need that space. So that's one option. Another option is use blocks. Hands closer to the floor. Well, no, floor closer to the hands. And then from here, we're going to step back with the left foot. Take a nice step back. We're going to bring our arms and torso up into a warrior one pose. Have a look at your front knee. You should be able to see your big toe peeking out from in front of it. If you can't, sneak that toe a little bit forwards. We're going to bring our hands behind our back, clasp our hands, fold forward into humble warrior. This might be a big stretch on the glute for you, or it might not. And release the hands, grab our blocks. Blocks go either side of the mat, parallel to it's parallel to my bunion, parallel to your toe joints. And then we're going to push into the blocks, get a nice flat back, and straighten that front leg. My hips are parallel to the front of the mat. I'm definitely getting a big stretch on the hamstring here. If you want more of a stretch, come further down with the blocks. But that might not be right for you. So as always, we're looking for a stretch where you go, good stretch, yeah. No, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. So once we've had a little breathe into that stretch, we can bend the front knee, we can bring our blocks to the front. We're going to bring our hands either side of that foot. So again, we can have hands on the floor. We can use blocks to give us a little bit of space, because we're going to step this front foot back into a plank. I'm going to come down off the blocks. If you hate plank, you can do half plank. If you hate half plank, you can do all fours, you know. Nobody's the yoga police, kind of straight for their abs, but not everybody needs something on their abs right now. I'll come back into plank. And then we're going to come into downward dog, sending the bum up and back. We're sending the shoulders towards the knees, bones in the air. Heels may or may not be on the floor, mine are not. What you should have ideally is a nice long line between your wrist and your bum. I'm fairly sure I don't. And you can use blocks if that helps. It helps me get my heel on the floor. I don't think it helps open my shoulders. In downward dog, you can bend one knee and then the other. So you don't need to straighten your legs ever. It's quite nice to pedal Get a little bit of stretching the backs of the legs. And then we can lead with that left leg. Up on blocks, you might be able to step through, or you might not, you might want to walk through. Bring both the feet together and we'll come up. Hands to prayer. So I'm going to do that on the other side, maybe a little bit quicker because I don't have to explain everything, but I might talk a little bit about stepping through when we get there. So, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forwards. Are your hands on the floor? Maybe, maybe not. Is your head near your knees? Maybe, maybe not. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat. I'm going to bend my knees this time and show you that way. Stepping back with the right foot. We'll inhale, bring our arms and torso up. Sneaking that front foot forward so I can see my toes. Hands behind back. Folding forwards into humble warrior. Releasing the hands, grabbing the blocks. Blocks to either side. Straight arms, flat back, hips facing the front, straighten that front leg. I'm feeling that just along there. Couple of breaths here. If you imagine that you can send the breath directly into the parts of the body that's stretched, that helps. Then we're going to bend that front knee. Hands to blocks on a lower setting so we don't fall over. That way it's probably all right, but don't have them very high. And then we're going to step back into a plank. So you can keep your hands on blocks or plank. Half plank's always an option. And then send the bum up and back into downward dog. Going to get rid of the blocks for a moment. So when we step through, bend out the heels first. When we step through, we need to do a couple of things all at once, which are easier for some people than others. If you've got shortish legs and longish arms, you'll find this easier. If you've got ample tummy and bosom, that will make things more difficult. So I'm going to do it slowly. We normally come up into three-legged dog to begin with. We're bringing our knee into the body. This needs a lot of hip flexor strength. Lifting the bottom up as much as we can. And then there's a little bit of... And you can see I'm behind my hand, I'm not between my hands. The ideal is we're there, but for me, that's right in my armpit. Step the other foot forwards, and we'll come to standing, hands to heart centre. Take a breath here. So, for that hip flexor movement, we're going to practice, well, when we come to a child's pose, you're going to see how close you can get your knee to your chest. And hopefully that will show you that probably what you need is a looser hamstring, tougher hip flexor, and it's not necessarily about, you know, having normal levels of body fat that most of us do. But we'll come to that. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forwards. I'm switching the floor a lot better now already, warmed up a bit. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat. We're going to step back with the left foot I'm going to lower that left knee to the floor. This is the point where if you've got rumbly knees, you might want a blanket under your knee. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to come up into warrior one type position, shoulders back, hips forward, get a bit of a stretch on that hip flexor. I'm going to come down, grab our blocks. So two things are going to happen here. Move this block out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. This foot is going to come forwards, and we're going to walk our hands back with our blocks, maybe coming up, using what's little stilts for the hands, straightening that leg. So we want to be in a position where we're quite upright, the toes are coming up towards the face. And then from here, we want a nice tall back, we don't want to be hunching. And we come slightly forward, bring our chest down, just until we feel a stretch on that hamstring. That for me is here. Maybe I can get a little bit lower. And we're going to breathe into that stretch. I'm going to smile. Again, it shouldn't be agony, but it should be that kind of, I needed that feeling. Walk the hands forwards, bring the foot down. Bring both blocks to the inside of that foot. Walk the foot right to the edge of the mat. We're going to come into a lizard pose, so we're bringing our torso inside the knee. That might be hands to mat, it might be hands to block, it might be elbows to block. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then coming back upright, just bringing that foot a little bit in, bringing the hands to either side. Using blocks if it helps. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knees, so we're in a high lunge. Step the feet together. Roll up to standing, hands to prayer. Notice if your legs feel different, they probably do. And I'm going to come down, hold the other side. Inhale, arms up, exhale, fold forwards, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat. We're going to step back with the right foot. Bring the right foot down to the mat, onto the blanket, if the blanket helps. Arms and torso up. Shoulders back, hips forwards. Arms down to blocks. We're sneaking his foot forward, straightening that leg, bringing the blocks to the high centre so we can sit up. Really concentrate on keeping that big toe coming towards you. If you go like that, you'll lose the stretch. Nice tall spine, chest forward, shoulders back, bum back and up, just fold into where you feel the stretch. I'm not going to be here for a couple breaths, breathing into where you feel the stretch. Once it's coming right up here, right up the hamstring into the glutes. And then walking the hands forwards, landing that foot, bringing that foot to the edge of the mat. Both blocks and both hands to the inside. And then bringing the shoulders and the torso down. So your hands and elbows are wherever they need to be to support you in that. You know, using blocks. If you've got your elbows on the floor and you want more stretch, you can even put a block under the foot. And then bring ourselves more upright, hands to blocks, bring that foot in a little bit. Blocks and hands to either side. We're going to step this foot back. Oh, so the blocks definitely help in not getting your heels stuck. And we're going to come back into a child's pose. Arms can be where they're comfortable, head can be where it's comfortable. Before you separate the knees, which makes it a lot more comfortable for some people, just as you come down, where are your knees? Probably right up against your chest or your bosom. Separate the knees if that gives you more space. So when we step through, it's not the case that your knees cannot get to your chest because of bosom, because of belly, because of whatever you've got going on down there. More likely it's that your hip flexors are not quite strong enough yet to pull them up, and more likely your hamstrings are also a bit tight and not willing to let go. Take a couple of breaths here. Come back up to kneeling. We're going to move the blanket out of the way. And then we're going to come down onto our belly, move the blocks out of the way as well. Come down into a Sphinx pose. We don't have to be too strict about how elegant our Sphinx is, but elbows under shoulders, hands flat on the floor. It's a little bit of back bend, pushing shoulders back, chest forwards. And then we're going to bend one knee and alternate. It's a little bit like, I don't know, those old 40s and 50s musicals where people might be on the beach and all singing a song that may be like this. So we're using the hamstrings to move our legs, we're strengthening the hamstrings here. We'll do a couple of these. And then we're going to you can bring your hands in front of your forehead, rest your forehead on your hands, or you could have a block under your forehead. Give you a little bit of space to breathe, or if you prefer, you can have one ear to the floor. And we're going to use this time the glute muscles to lift one leg and then the other. So we're not bending the knees, we're using the glutes. We're strengthening the glutes, we stretch them, we're strengthening them, and spoiler alert, we'll stretch them again. Imagine, if you will, two doors. One leads to safety and the other leads to certain death. And they're guided by two identical twin brothers, one of whom likes big butts and he cannot lie. The other who likes big butts and he can't tell the truth. You have one question to ask the brothers to ascertain which is the safe door. What is that question? I will tell you at the end, and that's your incentive to stick with this to the end. Anyway, we'll do one more of each of these. That probably went on a bit longer than I intended. Hands come either side of the chest. We're going to push back. Breathe, child's pose. Up to kneeling. We're going to want our strap to hand and we're going to fold to sitting with our legs straight out, Dandasana. Maybe need a strap here, maybe not. I'll use a strap. In fact, yeah, if you got a strap, use a strap, whether you need it or not. We're going to bring left foot, come a little bit to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Left foot coming somewhere to the upper thigh, right foot's out. We've got the toes coming up towards us as we did before. We're going to catch the foot with the strap. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Loose on the strap, we're not pulling on the strap. In fact, you don't need to hold the strap at all for this bit. Folding forwards. Once you're folded as forwards as your body wants to, use the strap to hold us there. You can use your toes, but if you use the strap, you've got a bit more control over where you are. So we're not cranking ourselves into the fold. We're just using the strap to hold us there. If you put some tension into the quad muscles here, front of the thighs, that can just help the hamstrings let go a little bit. And maybe you come a little bit further forwards. So here, my face is a lot closer to my knee than it was. It's not on the knee. And then we'll come up to sitting on a hook. Swap the legs and do the same thing on the other side. Lasso the old foot, nice and tall. Fold forward without using the strap or loose hold on the strap. And then just use the strap to hold you into the fold. Because this knee's out to the side, it feels a bit like a twist. The hips out a little bit. And look straight. And as always, we're looking for good stretch. We're not looking for pain or agony. There's no prizes for getting your forehead on your knee. And then we're going to unhook, come up to sitting. Come back along the mat. We're keeping the strap handy. We're going to lie down on the mat. Bring the knees into the chest, give them a nice hug in. Rock a little bit left and right. So again, where are your knees? Probably here, my thighs are on my rib cage. If I could get my legs like this in downward dog, I would be able to step right through between my hands in no bother. Release the feet down. So we're going to do a little bit of work on those hip flexors by bringing one knee right in and bringing it back. Do that on either side. gravity's helping us a little bit here, but the hip flexors tire pretty easily, so we don't want to do this for too long. We'll do one more on each side. And then grab our strap. We will start with our right foot. We're going to lasso our right foot with our strap and bring it up. Now there's options here. You can keep your left knee bent. That makes life a little bit easier. Where you can stretch it out along the floor. That makes it a little bit more difficult. So you can probably see, look, there's my foot with it bent, and as soon as I straighten my knee, my foot's running away. So we're going to, with this leg straight, just gently is like the important word here, pull it up towards our face. So we're getting a stretch down the back of the hamstring. Hold the strap in the right hand, bring your left hand out for some balance. Watch out for the pull out. Bring the foot out to the side. It's not going down to the floor, and we're keeping that toe coming up towards the head end of the mat. Take a few breaths here. Come back to centre. Make sure the foot's not escaping down that way a bit. Straps coming to the left hand, right hand comes out to the side. Now it really does not have to cross over your body very far. So we're drawing it gently to the left over the body. Does not have to go very far before. Certainly I feel a big stretch down, I think the IT band down the back and the outside of the leg. Back to centre, a little bit forwards, and then we'll gently release that. Bring both knees in, give them a hug. Again, maybe you feel the difference between the legs. Feet back to the floor, grab your strap. We're going to grab our left foot and bring it up. Again, the option is feet on the floor, bent knee, or leg along the floor. Gently, gently pull it towards your face, just till you feel that stretch. You know, if you go further than your body wants to, your body will just say that's not safe, and it will try and stop you, and that's when you can injure yourself. And then strap in the left hand, right hand to the side so we don't just roll over, bringing that leg out to the side. Back to centre, make sure it's not escapes towards your other foot again. Right hand on the strap, left hand out to the side. Little bit of crossing over the body, all very tight on this side for me. Breathing into that stretch. Bringing the foot back to center, gently letting go. Hugging both knees in. Maybe rock a little bit left and right, backwards and forwards. I'm a left and right kind of person. Some people like back and forwards like that. I like that less. You do you. We're going to do one more happy baby, but with a twist. So we're going to grab the feet or the ankles. Probably it would be difficult to use a strap for this, as you'll see in a moment. We're going to start off in traditional happy baby. And if this is a big stretch for you, that's absolutely fine. If you're holding on to your ankles, keep hold of your ankles. If you're holding to the outside of the foot, just move your hands to the big toe. And insofar as you can, which may not be overlaid, we're going to stretch those legs. We're going to straighten the legs and bring them outside. Couple of breaths here. Let go. Hug the knees in again. Rock a little bit. Left and right. Grab a block. We're going to bring our feet down just in front of our bottom. Come up into a little bridge just enough to pop the block underneath your sacrum. That's the bony bit where your pelvis and your spine meet. It should be not uncomfortable. If it's uncomfortable, it's probably too high or too low. If you don't have a block, you can use a firm cushion, or you can even fold up a blanket. And you can absolutely stay like this. Maybe wriggle the shoulders back a bit, get a bit of length in the spine. But if you want, especially after all that leg work, it's quite nice to float your feet up towards the ceiling. There will be a point where it feels like your thigh bones are just resting in your hip joints quite comfortably, so it shouldn't be an effort to do this. You shouldn't be using your ab muscles. And so while we're here, I will tell you the answer to the riddle. If you ask the identical twins, do you like big butts? You'd be wrong. Of course, that would only tell you which twin was lying. You ask the twins, if I were to ask your brother which is the safe door to go through, then both brothers will give the same answer. So let's imagine door A is the safe one. So if you just ask them which door to go through, the brother who tells the truth will say A, the brother who lies will say B. You ask the brother who tells the truth, what would your brother say? And he would say B, because that is what his brother would say. You ask the brother who doesn't tell the truth, he knows that his brother would really say A, so he says B, because he's lying. So both brothers will say B is the safe door. And from that you know that actually the safe door to go through is door A. So there you go. I had a teacher at junior school who used to use that kind of riddle all the time. So I've got loads of these, if this becomes a popular part of the videos. If you've still got your legs in the air after all of that, we'll bend our knees gently. Bring one foot down, bring the other foot down. Lift the hips, slide the block out of the way. Gently lower the back down to the floor. We're going to give our knees one last hug in. I think that's 3 hugs at the end, but I think we deserve it after all of that. Stretch your legs out, get ready for Shavasana. So if this is the end of your practice today, then please do pause the video, switch the video off, take 5 minutes or so in Shavasana, maybe just following your breath or maybe putting on a guided meditation that you like. If you're combining this with another video, then do that, you do you. But Shavasana is when we incorporate everything we've done in the body and in the mind. So please don't skip it. But assuming that you you've finished doing what you're doing, I'd like to bring my hands to heart centre. You can do the same if it feels right for you to do so. And I'd like to thank you for your time and for watching the video, sharing your practice. I've got other videos on the channel. I'm building up again a library of different body areas, so do check them out. God, I never thought I'd say this, but don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for sharing your practice with me.